Which two activities are normally controlled by the Northbridge of your chipset? So chipset, you have your North, you have your Southbridge, and you have your CPU. And these bridges on your chipsets communicate all the devices that go through your computer to the CPU, so it knows what's happening. So you have like devices. You can think of the Northbridge and Southbridge chipsets as highways where the data can go through and then go to the CPU. That's how I like to look at it. So you have your Northbridge and your Southbridge. Those are the two parts of your chipset, only two parts. So which does what? Well, I like to think of Southbridge starting with an S, and small starts with an S. So Southbridge controls more smaller peripherals is what I like to say. So what is small? Well, we could say that I/O ports are a small power portion. They're just a small part overall of the computer, right? There's not too much processing going on there. So that's controlled by the Southbridge. And then let's go to the bottom. Communication between the CPU and the sound card. Well, a sound card is also pretty small. It's nothing terribly hard or very important, necessary for the computer. So that one's not a Northbridge device, it's a Southbridge. Communication between the CPU and the hard drive. Hard drive could be important, but the hard drive will fall into the category as kind of like an extra thing. It's not vital for the computer to be running, so that falls into the Southbridge part of the chipset. For the Northbridge part, we need access to RAM and access to the video card. Those two things are very important. If you don't have your video card and you don't have your RAM, your computer will not boot up. So those two things are controlled by the Northbridge part of the chip. And then the other smaller parts, the I/O ports, the hard drive, the sound card, those are all Southbridge.